Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 12 instructional video. If you can believe it, week 12 already. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the content area to see what we have going on this week. So this week you do have one text to read and it's by Stedman and it's entitled Annoying Ways People Use Sources. So this is, I think, one of the best readings in general, whether it be a chapter, an article, anything, one of the best I found in terms of how we should be using research in our academic writing, because it can be overwhelming. MLA is a lot. Utilizing research to support our ideas can be a lot. There are lots of in and outs. And what Stedman does really well is offers examples of how not to include research, but he then goes into an explanation of how to take, that annoying thing and to turn it into, a more productive way to utilize research in our writing. So it's a really great article. Take your time with it. Make sure that as you're reading, you are really understanding what Stedman is outlining in terms of those mistakes that we can easily make when it comes to using research in our writing. And let me know if you have any questions, right? I do want to note that the last day to withdraw with a W from your course so that it won't negatively impact your overall GPA is going to be Monday. This is something where I put in the syllabus, if I see folks who are really struggling, they're not passing at this point. Yes, we're in week 12, right? So we don't have a ton left in the semester, but we do have some pretty large grades ahead of us. But there are going to be some folks who haven't been in touch, haven't submitted work in a while, and my assumption is going to be that the best thing for them is to be dropped from the course so that they're not ending up with a failing grade. Like if things have happened, life outside the course, life outside school has taken over, the last thing on our minds is going to be, dropping a course, right? So I'm going to take care of that. I've been in touch with folks whose grades have concerned me because of this or their inactivity. So if I haven't heard from folks, then that's what's going to happen. But this is also something to consider for any other courses where you just feel like, man, we're in week 12 and I just don't see myself being able to put in the time and effort into this course. Maybe that's the best route for you, make the best choice for you. We never want to withdraw students. We never want to drop students. As professors, we never want to lose students. But, we know that life happens. So make the choice that is best for you. All right, you're watching the weekly instructional video. And I'd also like you to take some time to watch the video for the multimedia project because you are completing the multimedia project plan this week. I cannot emphasize this enough. And every semester, somebody takes this and runs with it in the wrong direction. Your multimedia project is not due this week. It is not due next week. What is due this week is the plan. I want you to really consider, after watching the project video, looking through the guidelines, I want you to think about what you would like to do for your project and make a plan for it, okay? The project itself is not due, just the plan. Okay, and your quiz. So the plan is due on Thursday, and then you do have that participation quiz, as usual, due on Sunday, which covers the multimedia project video, the plan, the reading, okay? All right, so you're watching what will appear here. And here I put, find Stedman's article. So instead of just posting it here, remember where to go to find the readings that you might need. Okay, this is me pushing you to click around and look at everything that's in the content area in the table of contents and to find the readings. Maybe also looking again at, student success, looking at the schedule for the semester to see when the multimedia project itself is due, that kind of thing. So just click around. All right, let's take a look at the plan itself. This, again, it's a plan because there are going to be probably 90% of you that look at the guidelines, look at the video, look at the examples I've offered from past students and think, I know what I want to do, and you're going to put a plan together that really outlines that. There will then be 10% of you who because you're not picking up what I'm putting down, because I'm not explaining it in a way that's easy for you to understand, whatever the case may be, you may start heading in the wrong direction for your project. So the plan helps us with that. It is a large grade, the project itself. So I don't want you investing all this time and energy in something that has not hit those guidelines. So the plan helps with that. It not only gives you a chance to really look ahead at the rest of the semester and go, okay, on this day, I'm going to do this part of the project. On this day, I'm going to do research. On this, it gives you a chance to plan out some of this while also actually drafting, because part of the multimedia project for a writing class is definitely going to be writing, right? So start working on some of that research now, okay? It's just giving a realistic timeline. Look ahead and go, okay, maybe during our holiday week, I plan on getting these things done. Just know that it's going to take longer than you probably anticipate to complete the project. That's why we're putting a plan in place. So after taking a look at the video, after reviewing the guidelines, you'll then complete the actual plan, which looks like this. So this area will expand as you type, right? Because I want you to put as much time and effort into thinking about this as possible. So just know that these will expand. So what text author from our course inspired your project? So our project does need to be focused on food, right? That is our theme. If you're not comfortable with that, that's absolutely fine. Maybe reach out to me. Some of you have already talked to me before about some perhaps discomfort or, issues that you've dealt with involving food. So if you want to take this in a different direction, then just reach out to me and let me know. You can always create something about writing if you'd like, or we can try to tweak the assignment a little bit so that it's not like re-traumatizing you or making you feel poorly. We got to take care of ourselves. Okay, so think about, what was the most interesting thing we read or watched or whatever the case may be related to food. And I want you to note that the below answers will be helpful in then being part of those paragraphs that are required for the project itself. So we're doing some of the work already, right? So I want you to describe the format. So do you want to create a video? Do you want to do a PowerPoint? Do you want to do what is the medium you want to choose? Which will make more sense after you watch the video itself, but I want you to make a plan. I do want to note, however, that you creating this plan and putting your ideas down is not you committing to anything. So if after you do all the work on this plan and you then decide, well, I originally thought I wanted to do this for, in relation to Finley's ideas, I actually want to shift gears and instead do this based on, Sean Sherman's ideas or Sam Cass's ideas or Amy Choi's, whatever. You are not committing. This is just us kind of getting a bit of a draft, right? A draft of an idea so that I can give you feedback and so that you can think about how you're going to spend your time and what you would like to do. Okay. How will you show effort? This is a really big part of the project because there is the creative element, right? Whether it's a painting, a video, a PowerPoint, whatever it is. But if it's something like a painting and you are not great at painting, but you would like to try something new, I'm not going to grade, this painting that you spent so much time and effort on poorly because it doesn't look awesome, right? That is where the effort comes in. So if you are doing a painting, take pictures of it as it progresses. If you're doing a piece of fan fiction, take screenshots along the way as you work to edit it. If you're the only, I think, project medium that I foresee that kind of the effort is implicit and implied is a video, right? Because it takes time to, film the video, to edit it, to upload it, all of that kind of stuff. So for everything outside of a video, you are going to need something that shows effort. I think the only other alternative would be like an informational PowerPoint or a PowerPoint of some sort that you collect information and data for, because the PowerPoint is showing that effort. Okay, anyhow, this is where planning some of this will help. But remember, effort needs to be shown in some way aside from those examples I mentioned. I want you to think of a general timeline. Like, When are you going to do the research, for the paragraphs? When are you going to write those paragraphs? When are you going to revise them? When are you going to film the video if that's what you do? When are you going to borrow the materials or buy the materials you need? When are you going to bake the item you want to bake, right? Or whatever it is that you would like to do, okay? And then you have space for a complete draft of the second paragraph. And y'all, so many times students will just throw in quotes here and leave it at that. This is a draft. While it is in draft form, I expect it to be a full-on paragraph with research included that you can then later go in and revise, edit, change as need be. But it's not just a place to dump quotes, right? This is a draft of an actual paragraph. I hope I've gone over everything so that this really hits home. This is just a week for submitting a plan. It is not a week for the actual project, though you are free to start the project as long as it meets the guidelines that you see in the video, okay? All right, so you will upload that work here. And then you also, of course, have your weekly quiz, which is based on everything. I want to take a brief break to address something that has come up quite a bit these past probably 2 weeks or so. So it always happens where, life happens, right? Sometimes this course and others that you're taking can't be your central focus because you have a lot of stuff going on outside of it, whether that is work responsibilities, family, especially family emergencies, things of that nature. Though, professors want to be a little self-centered about it and want to think that our courses are the center of your universe. That's just not the reality we live in, right? So that's why we have the grace periods for different assignments. However, I've just been hearing from so many of you, and you're going through such unique and difficult circumstances. So I'm going to do something unprecedented. I have never done this before, may not ever do it again. So this is definitely not something to broadcast about my course, but it just seems like it's something that we as a group need. And that is, I'm going to offer an extension period for all assignments up to this point, except those previous food journals. So I am going to offer until this upcoming Sunday a 1-week extension on quizzes and mind maps and anything we've done this semester so far aside from the food journals. Hold on one second. Because the food journals build on one another. So I will extend the food journal 3. That's what I will offer an extension on because that is the latest thing. So this is one of those things where I'm making this offer for all the assignments and for any of you, even if you submitted something and you would like to try to revise and resubmit it for a better grade, then go for it. Those of you who were not able to submit initially, please know that there will be partial credit, right? And I'm not talking, oh, you'll get 10%. No, you'll get more than half if you complete the assignment according to the guidelines. But I still need to offer something that is fair to those students who submitted their work on time. They were able to do that. But this is a way to not necessarily penalize people for having so much going on in life, right? So it's kind of me trying to meet in the middle. So I will open up those assignments, but it is a hard deadline for Sunday the 16th. I will not offer a grace period or anything beyond that. And this is not something I'm advertising or noting in our weekly schedule. This is something that, if you're keeping up with the videos and you are making yourself aware of details for the class, this is for you. And I hope it helps because, again, I know, along with many of you, that it's not been the easiest semester. So I hope that this is something that, gives you a little boost. And also, I don't round up grades. So this is one of those additional opportunities in addition to the bonus credit available for you to make sure that you've done everything you can to get the best possible grade at the end of the semester, because I will be so sad and sympathetic if you email me the day before grades are due and say that things have just gotten out of control and is there anything you can do for those 2 extra points? And I will have to say, I'm really sorry. I know this is hard, but we had these grace periods and we had this 1 week where all bets were off. Okay, so plan ahead, y'all. Please take advantage of this if it's something you think that may be helpful down the road. So again, I will work to open up those items, and just reach out and let me know if you have any questions about this or any of the other things that are going on this week. Remember, the project is not due, it's just the project plan. Okay, good luck this week, everyone. Hang in there.